Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave daily update for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 for Tuesday, October the 8th, 2024. Market threw us a little bit of a curveball after leaving what I felt was a very clean 535 down to here, needing just a small little rally and an additional 5 and finish this wave 2. Nope, the curveball was, it's like, nope, that was only wave A of the whole process. That was only wave B of the whole process. And now we've done wave C just to finish this upper B wave, right? So we're just finishing the B wave, still needing now a downward spiral there. A quick downside move would be appropriate, and hopefully something that may look like that. Just get it quick, one and done, be over. And this was just dropping it down after triggering a higher level volatility trigger, which they tried early, played within the cues, played within the spiders to kind of start to trigger a volatility trigger, which of course at coming down, you're going to trigger it, you're going to produce some additional selling. In any case, didn't work. And the market turned and went up and did, there was a low, that was a B wave. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put a C on it, put a B on it, and it just so happens that the high today was 20,329.50, and the 100% marker for a fib level for the C wave, where it would be equal to the A wave, came in at 20,336. So I thought, well, as we say, good enough for government work, coming in just shy, about 7 points shy. Big deal. So I'm going to put the C and the B, continue to look for a little bit of drive down. Now today, also, I will say, for whatever reason, I didn't notice that. I think because the failure of the volatility trigger being taken out gave a failure to it. And then what ended up happening, at least by what I saw, was they began to sell the VIX. And that just turned into a field day because suddenly the VIX went from being slightly down to being very down. Well, not terribly down, but more. And at one point, $1 or a full point, let's say, whatever, however you want to measure the vol. And then suddenly seeing that they're buying calls in Apple, they're buying calls in a lot of the NASDAQ Mag 7. And off we went. And so when I first came in today and I saw this, I was like, well, I had to quickly figure it out, because it's like, no, you're not going to go down from here because you've come up too high and it's not a 4 because it overlapped wave 1. So immediately just was left as an ABC, and I just kind of had to take a stand back, put up some quick fibs, and then did realize that once we got going, what also was behind it, so that I could then get an understanding of what the follow through should be. We should have continued follow through. As long as I'm watching them sell the VIX, sell volatility, then I'm going to expect this market to just rise. There was one additional attempt about the 9 o'clock hour to push it back down and trigger. And that actually was more, I believe, in the S&P, that they were trying one last time. Didn't work. And up we went right through to the close. And the additional hour, the after hour from the regular close, saw a little bit of a down movement. So in any case, I do think that it was just an extension or an extended B wave. And by the way, sub minuet, because that's a minuet wave 2 that we're trying to count here. So everything remains the same in terms of the minuet wave 2 support levels. And here in the NASDAQ, we've come close. And I think if we come down now, we could still maybe get to it, if not a little bit below it. And this I don't need. Let me take that number off, because that's nothing. That's just the starting point. So I think that our support for the C wave will come in at starting at 19,785, which matches up with the minuet wave 2. And then I can also, once we get it down there, I can do a comparison of now, because it's really there to give me the balance, and I would have to go here, here to here to give me the rest of that. So let me just put in another one. Going here. No, that's going to give me the same one. Anyway, if I kind of do it this way to see what kind of C wave I can get, then I'm just comparing these, and we can see that we got the 100 and there's the 1618, and it's right in line with this. So I do think that like we can get a move. We have some inside support. This I think may just be a rest. This I think could just be a rest. But if it came down here in a clean 5, it could become a failure and a C wave failure if the upside pressure is strong. Now, what's going to wreck this plan? Well, let me just kind of change this about just a little bit. I will leave that one in and leave that one in, take that one out, and I'm going to change this color because I'm looking for the C wave and put that back up as such. So there's our resistance, or excuse me, our support levels all the way around. This kind of doubles up here. So I would say between 19,785, 19,740, we should find the support, complete a C wave, and then turn and go up again. Now, what could just ruin this is that they just go up beyond. So, and that being the case, I have an alternative here, and I likely could come and call it a C wave failure from here, and then this is one of, so in other words, this would be the A wave, this would be the B wave, and this would be the C wave. It would come in a failure. I don't particularly like it, but if we had to put it down as a failure, it's tough because it really is just a 3. So, and it just, yeah, I'd have to put it all the way back to here, that the wave 2 would come in here. And then this would be a strange, because there's a lot of 3s, but I could probably put a diagonal together and call it wave 1, and then this being a 3, wave 2, and this is one of 3 going to the upside, right? So this would be minuet wave 1, minuet wave 2, and then we're starting to break down in minuet wave 3. 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 1 of 3 of 3, or, you know, maybe not, maybe we get a little bit more, and then we can call it wave 3 and a 4 and a 5, and that would then complete minuet wave 3, and I actually would be looking for, I could run it, but it's, yeah, I need to run it a little bit differently. So I'm going to leave it as such, and we're just kind of going to figure where this could go. And again, I believe we need one leg down. If it doesn't, and they just keep pushing this way, understand that they're going to have to back it up, put the 2 there. That would be 1 of 3, 2 of 3, and we're in a 3 of 3 move up. And that would suggest a lot higher than there. In fact, I could just go here and just open this up a little bit, and we look at, get rid of that. We look at 618 and 268, and those I'm putting in wave 3, and it's going to be minuet, but it's going to be inside, so it's going to be the gold. All right, so let me just fill that out. If it takes off, here's the deal. First resistance basically has been met, which is going to allow me to call it a C wave and the completion point of the B wave. A break, which we have to throw this wave 2 here, and this is 1, and this is 2, and we're in 3. Our next stop would be 20,614 now. If we come in tomorrow and they're still doing the same thing, well, now you know. And what's on the outside? Well, the outside is at 2618. If they really spark, is 21,063. Now take it back out to the hourly. What do we need to get above, right? If this is a part of that minor 5 and we're inside of the third wave, well, you better get it. I think wave 3 should definitely get above 20,213. And here it's, or 21,213. And here it's 21,138. So not quite, but close enough. And I would think then we have possibly wave 3 of 3. There's 1 of 3, 2 of 3, 3 of 3. I want it to be bigger. I do. It's way up here. And they could, if they really get into this swing of risk on, and whatever the reasons are, seriously, whatever the reasons are. And who knows, because again, we still have CPI and PPI on Thursday and Friday, and jobless claims, et cetera, et cetera. And on Thursday, we start hearing from the banks. And that may set the tone, because they tend to, particularly if it's Jamie Dimon and it's, JP Morgan, he tends to, or whoever's giving the report, it normally kind of talks a little bit about the economic things and moving forward, and what's it look like interest rate wise, what things could affect their books, what could affect their profitability. And so I'm waiting to hear that. Let's just say that, because I think it could start to set the tone for this cycle of earnings, these third quarter. So, and then because we will shift and go into year end, and again seasonally. So if I look at seasonality charts, October can be choppy to lower, not necessarily falling out of the sky, but lower. And then in November, it starts to really pick up and all roads point north. So again, if I'm looking at it on a seasonality basis, it would be year end is promising to be not bad. Again, that's balancing it out over a 10-year period. So seasonality beyond that, well, then you maybe got a different makeup and a different thing. Does that mean that we're going to get that? No, but it's saying that on average for the last 10 years that we have. So right now, why think anything different unless the market tells us? So right now, short term, maybe balance of the week. I think we got to come down in a wave 2. Maybe CPI and PPI are going to come out in line, or not really shake the boat all that much. But whatever we're going to hear from tomorrow, it does, and it comes down, or even on Thursday, and it comes down. So, and JP Morgan, by the way, normally parts before the market, I think. I believe that's how they report. Any case, to wrap this up, giving both sides. This was a little bit of a surprise. Excuse me, I need a sip of water. A little bit of a surprise, and that the market did not fulfill and come down as I expected. And then I had to quickly make an adjustment to the labeling. Still looking for it now. If it doesn't go again, then you know that I'm shifting it over, and the wave 2 will be replaced. This A will be replaced with a wave 2, and this is 1, 2, and we're in a third. And there's your markers. Excuse me again. There's your markers. All right, let's go over, and let me just take it up to the daily. We'll take a peek at the moving averages. I don't think they're going to be all that changed still. Slight upward bias, came down through it early, went back up above. So yesterday, I think it basically closed at, traded a little bit below the beginning of Globex yesterday. And then we've finished way above. So bullish, engulfing, all of the above. So it actually would suggest we probably get some follow through. But moving averages are basically, maybe. And again, here we are to get above that guy. and then again above the previous highs. All right, let's go over and take a look at the S&P. Same deal, actually. I'm actually going to take this off for right now. Those were the for the irregular, if it was still in play, and it's right now I think it's going to be an outlier if they are. So I'm leaving the rest on because you just never know. And let's go to the 1 hour chart and open this guy up and bring it down a little bit. And let me make my changes there. That's for the downside. And that fits. And here is for a completion point for the minuet wave 2. Those are our support lines. And the change is that minuet wave 1, wave A, and then we got an A, B, C, and the B wave here. Same deal. And that this, in terms of the B wave, came up and hit resistance, fib resistance, pretty much 5807. So actually it was at 5808, I believe, and the high was 0607. So again, visiting an old level where there was, I think at one time, a vol trigger. So not now, not at this point. But things are getting adjusted. Things are moving. So once again, here we have the A and then the B. I mean the A and then the A, B, C, B. And this one was more, I could have done a 5 and put the, and this would have put it, it was slight below that. So could have A, B, C. I chose not to, pretty much based on that the S&P and the NASDAQ usually go pretty hand in hand. And I don't think that, because what it would do is put the S&P, if this is the count, it would put the S&P, if this is in ABC, this is going to be the minuet wave 2, and this is the absolute first wave of wave 3, versus the NASDAQ being more clear, needing to come down, simply because this wave did not even come down to there or slight new low. So in fact, it would have really produced a failure. Remember, I was just talking about that. It would be this one may be a small failure, because I believe this low is 24 and this low is 25.25. Okay, $1.25. So pretty much. So I'm leaving it though as a B wave. And there's the run of the C wave, so that we also have the ability to come back down. And the fibs really do line up. If it comes down to here, it would be a small C wave failure, because it wouldn't go down and take that out that low. But we seem to have hovered just slightly above and below this particular support level for the minuet wave 2. Now, what comes in below is pretty realistic, actually, 5,700. So we're just above 5,800. So for the S&P to drop 100 points and do it rather quickly, usually does kind of rattle the cages, but it happens. And I think that because one of our levels can be violated, can be triggered, and it just starts a quick flurry. And it could be nothing more than all of the positions that they kind of stuck on today, they have to reverse tomorrow. I don't know, because I'm not the one doing the trader, and I don't know how their algorithms are set up. But just as where would this come from? It could just come from just the gamma levels, from the flow of the capital and the options flow. So again, when they reverse it, today it was risk on. So what they're doing, they're selling volatility. They're buying the underlying volatility, and they were doing a lot of that in some of these stocks. Meta, Microsoft, all of the big boys. So where is our support then for the C wave? 5741, 5737, that's one zone. And the second zone is 5,700 down to 5683. And this one would be more, to me, highly favored and putting in the perfect C wave. Do it all at once and then bing. And so it would fit also to have that same move where it complete and then you get that strong reversal. Like that nasty little red candle, and then suddenly you get a green candle that just kind of shoots up. They just pop and buy. So, and it could definitely be in one of those, if you've ever followed Bookmap, and Bookmap shows you where a lot of resting orders are, and often they turn into magnets for algorithms, and they will go down to trigger it. And often what is sitting underneath there is a buy order. So the seller may have drove it down there, triggered the buy order that stopped the selling, and the buy order comes back up and then ends up maybe only showing originally 50 contracts or whatever, but they're looking like they're buying 100, or 200, or 300, or 500, and it just kind of goes up. Just scoops all the sellers and pushes the market back up. That type of a turn would be very, I would expect it. I would see it, and it would be a good opportunity to just join the party. That would mean the selling's pretty much over. So again, a nice little sweep down, clear out all this stuff that kind of went on today, pick up the stock wherever whomever is doing it needs it and wants it, and then off we go. Because the wave count would definitely suggest that we're dropping. If we finish the 2, we're going to go right into the 3. And the 3 is the most powerful and usually the longest out of 1, 3, and 5. So again, if I just move it out to the 4-hour chart, we are looking for the minute third to finish somewhere around 59. Here we are, just getting ready we're pushing right above 58 again. So it's 175 points. For third, it started down below. If it starts from 56, 59, 200. And I'd be looking at that one, 54.60. Yeah. So this is large. So, but that's 1, that's 2. So the overall 3 would be very large. If that's 1, and then I can get 2 or 3 out of this. And we come down and come back up. We're back right knocking on 6,000's door to finish. So this whole minor fifth wave, I think could get much higher than I think what we're really kind of expecting. In fact, I'll do it once I have the confirmation, because if I start putting it up now, they're going to show up here. And so I'll put them up before tomorrow, so we can see where minor wave 5 would go, because I am leaning more towards it. They're still hanging out up here, and they're getting more restless to push further. That was the feeling today that I had. Now, that might be totally reversed tomorrow and we get all that selling, but don't forget, I think the selling bequeaths stronger buying. All right. Now, what do we have coming out tomorrow? And on Wednesday, we have wholesale inventories and Fed minutes from the September meeting. Fed minutes come out at 2 p.m. Eastern. And, lately they have triggered some movement, and 10 a.m. is wholesale inventories. And in between, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Fed officials, between presidents and governors and all in between. Actually, these are all Fed president, Fed president, all the different branches are out talking. Okay, so the next update will be on Wednesday, October the 9th.